Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I am Sally McFadden of the Polka Dot Life. If you are joining me as part of the Butterfly Inspirations blog hop, I am so glad that you've joined me. Our theme this month is all about autumn. And today's Glow of Harvest project features a soft, relaxing, seasonal color palette that I know you are going to enjoy. Whether you are here for seasonal inspiration or following along on the blog hop, grab a favorite cozy beverage and let's head to the craft desk to get started. The theme for this month's Butterfly Inspirations blog hop was fall or back to school. And since the schools here where I live in Alabama have been in school for a couple full weeks now, I decided to go with a general fall theme. Plus, this product is so dreamy. I love it. This is the Glow of Harvest Specialty Designer Series paper, and it is the August product of the month. Now, at the time of filming, this is still an available product, but all product of the month products are while supplies last only. But don't worry, even if by any chance this sells out before you see my video, the card layout that I'm using for our project today and the other two that I'm going to show you are just very basic card layouts. My cards are simple today, and you can just substitute in any other paper that you have, fall, Christmas, what have you, that you're going to be working on. And I hope that they're useful to you. And I don't normally include the measurements to all of my cards, but this month I did. So this is the Glow of Harvest Specialty Designer Series paper. It has a pearlized finish. I don't know if the camera picks up on that, but it is beautiful. And it has very vanilla in it. And I love when we get to use very vanilla. Stampin' Up! Doesn't give us that opportunity very much, unfortunately, but I do love it, and particularly for fall and Christmas. So this sheet has pumpkins, and these are, when they're specialty papers, they are only printed on one side, and you get two of each design. And then this one just has, you could use this as a background, or as you'll see in one of my cards today, I cut several of these images out. And just a nice generic leaf in a nice soothing neutral color. I love this. And then this one's fun. It's a little more colorful. It's got the Cajun craze and golden glow in there. And that one's a happy one. We're going to use that today. And then we have another leaf print with acorns. And then this is a real showstopper piece. It also would make a great background, a great scrapbook page background, but these can all be fussy cut out. It might take you a little bit, or if you don't like to fussy cut, like just take a circle and cut out one of these designs or whatever shape, but just cut out one of these designs with a die, and that's another way around it. But I do love that product. To earn the product of the month, you need to place a $75 order all at one time, and that is before shipping and tax, but after you've applied any Stampin' Rewards. So for when you get that $75 order in your cart, then you can add this product for $5, and it's beautiful paper. I haven't seen a paper this pretty for quite a little while. And you do need to go in and manually add it to your cart. It's not something that's going to be automatically added for you. You need to go in and manually select it, because there might be more than one product. Like they may have some left over from last month, which I think they do. And so you pick which one that you want, and you can only get each product one time. Now this is a little sneak peek of some up and coming papers that we are going to have in the, I guess it's September to December catalog, or the online exclusives that come out September 1st. I've lost track. I can't tell you anymore what comes from what. This designer paper is called Texture and Tone Mix In Designer Series paper. And it has some colorful sides. This is the one where they do 4 of each 3. There are 3 designs. You get 4 sheets of each. And then these more basic neutral patterns on the back, which you could color either of these with a blending brush or Stampin' Blends, whatnot, to get a color if you have a color in mind that you would like to have. But I thought that these were really, really pretty. And these 2 especially are my favorite. And we're going to be using one of those prints today. Another product we're going to be using today is up and coming as well. And it is the Framed and Fabulous stamp set. These greetings are nice and big, and the font's just really nice on it. It's very readable. And so that's what I'm going to use on our card today. I have lots of little pieces here for our card. And we're going to do a top fold card today. And like I said, I'm just going to smooth out my edges. I've said that before. I know I still haven't changed the trimmer blade yet. And then it kind of scooched on me here on my glass mat. Let me hold my finger down on it. We're going to pull that excess. If you don't know how to score a card base, it's a half a sheet of cardstock and scored in, you cut it in half and then you fold it in half. It can go either direction, but I just like this card as a top fold card today. And then we are just going to do some layering. I guess I should grab some adhesive today. That would be helpful. And we will need some dimensionals. Sorry if my wet hair is getting in the camera. So I am going to put some Stampin' Seal on this piece, and this is going to cover our whole card base. And you will see that I have done some die cutting in the center here. And that was just because I love this paper and I wanted to save as much of it as I could without cutting it for little tiny things. So I die cut a couple banners, and we'll talk about that here in a second. Let me get this here and tap that there. And we'll just get that a nice rub down. Perfect. So I have this die from the Nested Essential dies. And I just wanted a little banner shape for under our greeting, so I needed 2 of these. So since this is going to be covered up today, I just went ahead and die cut that out ahead of time. Move that over. We don't need that yet or that. Let's put our next layer on. And again, this just gets centered right on that first layer. And what I try to do is if you can line up 3 sides to be equal, the 4th one should work itself out to where it's equal to. Now the next thing we are going to do is take a little bit of some linen thread. And I'll be honest, we're going to do this now because I will forget if I don't. I'm just taking it and pulling my hand through it, getting some, that warmth is just, because it's wrapped on a spool, it gets a little spirally. So one of the reasons I wanted to do a top fold card is just the way that this ribbon, or this twine, linen thread, what have it, you can change it out to use whatever it is that you have at home that you like. If you change up the papers, that's fine. Let's see. And I always cut too much, but I don't enjoy working with textiles that are too small. It's just, my nails don't work well with it. I just don't work well with it. So you want to not pull it so tight that you would cut the end of your card. But, you know, it has to be tight enough that it's not gonna hang and catch and all those things. Let's see. I want it to have a little tiny bit of give to it so that we can put it where we need to. And on this particular card, if it's a little loose and you don't want to undo your bow, we can always just scooch this in the middle and secure it with a dimensional or a piece of Scotch tape, what have you. Well, cut our tails, and I could probably use my little bow maker and make a teeny bow for another card there. I'll do that after we're finished. So let's go here next. I have just a small piece of Very Vanilla. And I have mounted our stamp. It says, "Thankful for You." And I have some early espresso ink. We're going to get that inked up nicely. And I'm going to pull it just a hair closer to me so that I can see through my trifocals to actually stamp this. I'm just going to get it in the center and kind of use this bottom of this manuscript font on the bottom to keep that straight. It stamps really nicely. I'm going to look forward to playing with this stamp a little bit more. Now we're just going to layer some things up. Normally I would just use glue, but since I have my tape runner out, we've done everything else that way. We're just going to use that today too. On here. And we put our layers together. There's not a big border here, but just enough to where we kind of bring out that lovely crisp cantaloupe. I do love that. We want our bow like not to be at the tippy top, and I put a much bigger bow on this one than I did my other one, but I like this one too. So we also want to attach our banner, and I am just going to, you know what, I think I do want to do some liquid glue on this. It's just going to make it go a little bit easier for me. And I feel I'd get a better adhesion with this. This die, of course, is not long enough to go the whole way across. But I kind of want to, I need to kind of keep my card here and make sure we're not going to go past, you know, the edge of the card. I want it close-ish, but not. So these kind of almost go together, I think. We'll try with 1/4 of an inch there in between. And I think that will be just fine. And so we can just use our glass mat. So that would leave about 1/2 inch. And this would leave, let's try it here. It's a good starting place. And it just helps to keep things straight. And when you flip it over, I think it looks good. And we'll just make sure that that goes nicely on our card. I am going to add this with dimensionals, and I'm going to keep them at the top and the bottom, just in case we need to adjust that bow any. That way it's just kind of like its own little linen thread canal in there. Or especially if you're using a bigger ribbon, it gives you a little bit more room. Ooh, these backings are stuck on this pack. And then we'll just bring this in. Just kind of nuzzle that up against there. And one thing with this pearlized paper, as long as we're not pressing it down, especially since it's pearlized, it's going to be fairly easy to readjust. I say that as that sticks. I just kind of want to, it's kind of hard with this bow here, but do the best that you can. Let's move it up, because I do like where the bow is landing on my card. Goodness gracious. I promise I can actually do this. And I guess maybe that pearlize is making it a little sticky. I thought it would make it kind of slick, so that's a good experimentation. Just look, that's nice and straight. If you want to move this in just a little bit to be a little bit closer, maybe make the bow just a little bit smaller. Cut our tails. Now, I did not choose to add any other embellishment to my card today. On the outside, you certainly could. Some gems, some gold gems would be pretty, some golden glow. Any of those colors would be super, super pretty. Some crumb cake, something like that. Now, I am going to add a layer to the inside. I like to do that pretty much with all my cards. I know this is a light color, and some of you choose not to add another layer inside, and that's fine. I just feel a couple things. I feel it makes it look more professional, more polished, more put together to do that. I also think that it gives your card just a little bit more stability. Now, it doesn't sit up very well on this glass mat. It gets slidey. I also have another little piece that when I cut my two pieces, one for my card when I was creating and one for you here today, I had this little strip across the bottom left. And so I cut it in half, and I used half on my example and half on this. I thought it would be fun. It's not the same size. It's not big enough to use that die cut, but we can replicate it on our own. And all you do to make a banner is to cut in the center as far as you want, as deeply as you want in there. And you go to the corner and you cut back to that corner. Or back to that center point, I should say. And then I'm going to add some adhesive. And you can put this wherever you want. I kind of figured I wanted it going this direction, first of all, to be a little bit different, and just to mimic the outside. I could put it going up and down. So this is one of those, if you don't like to write a card in a card, strategically put where you want to put that, and it's going to cut a little bit off. So maybe address their name here and then begin writing down here a few sentences. That works really well. And I will show you on my example. This paper, it has very vanilla in it. And to me, it gives a very vanilla vibe, and I like the way it looks with it. But I didn't pay attention when I did my example, and I actually put white on the inside. But it's fine, because some of the papers, the backgrounds are definitely white. I feel like this one could swing either way. But like I say, I do love some very vanilla, and so that is why I chose that. I cut this piece 6 inches, and I did 2 3/4 today. I normally only do 2 1/2 for my card envelope flaps, but sometimes when you're doing embossing, it kind of shrivels that paper up, and I'd rather have just a hair too much than not enough. These come in a set of the small skinny embossing folders that go into your mini, and they, I believe, are called seasonal cheer, and I think they came in an earlier release. I think these are actually live now and not a sneak peek for you. But anyway, I just added that to my envelope just to make a pretty piece of stationery. I have a few other cards to show you. And so this is a crumb cake card base. And I used that leaf pattern and just added another layer and another layer. And the white I felt worked the best for this particular paper. And it's got white in the flower. So I just thought it kind of set it apart a little bit. And then it is listed in my blog which stamp set that comes from. I just can't think of it right offhand, but I do have the measurements for all three of my cards today, so you can go in and make your own. But I just cut out, this was one of those large flowers, and then these were in that sheet with all kind of the little things together. After I stamped my greeting on this little strip, I put my linen bow on the back of it and then adhered it on with dimensionals. I cut just one of those that are going off of the side of the page. Don't waste those. It was too pretty to waste. So I just used it and put it on my card. I kind of usually tend to do something across the bottom, and I just was like, I'm going to do something different. And then I wanted to pull out this pretty golden glow on that card. On this card, I used the acorn pattern and then the pattern that we used today on the front of our card. I just cut squares and arranged them in a grid. You could arrange them in any kind of grid. You could cut any size of square and work it out to how it goes on your card. I did not pop anything up. These are all just glued flat down. I just decided I just wanted something quick and easy. And I used Very Vanilla for my card base here. I did not have any regular Cajun Craze cardstock, so I pulled out my two-tone cardstock. I am loving my two-tone cardstock. I hadn't played with it a whole lot. I'd done some scrapbooking with it, but not on my cards. I hadn't used a lot. But in the last year, I have really learned to appreciate and love my two-tone cardstock. And then I just had another one of the squares that I put on the inside and more of that two-tone paper, and then just put another Very Vanilla layer. And here's where the two-tone cardstock gets especially fun, is when you emboss it. We are going to have sanding blocks coming out in the new catalog, but I just have a little nail, one of those rectangular foam nail files, and that's just what I took over the top of that. You don't have to press very hard. When you've embossed it this much, this is a really deep impression. It just kind of skips right off the top, and I thought it just really made it pretty. This is where I really miss my Very Vanilla envelopes, and I hope that maybe someday Stampin' Up! Will start and sell them again. And I do have a little stash of them, but I went ahead and used it. Just with this one, with it laying like this for photography and filming, it looks a little weird with the two colors to me. But I mean, it is what it is. It's going to go through the mail. It's going to get dirty, all of those things. So that is my last project of the day. So here we have 3 pretty cards. This paper pack is one of those. You don't really need anything that goes with it. There's nothing that coordinates to it, whatnot, but it just is the star of the show all in its own. And I also feel like it is a little bit busy to where you have to break it up with some other things. I will own that. I think it's good, but I think it sometimes stretches us to grow and learn to use things differently than maybe the way that we always kind of default to. And I think that these are great cards from everyone, from a beginner stamper all up through an avid crafter. I thank you for joining us today on the Butterfly Inspirations blog hop. On my blog, there is a list. If you're at me, then go to the next person on the list and just keep going through all of the ladies that are participating this month. And I know that they're going to have amazing projects that will inspire you for some of your best fall crafting. As always, remember to be kind, send a card, and do something creative. Bye-bye.